Hi, my name's Isaac, and this is a 2020 GMC Sierra Denali. Some might say the pinnacle of luxury trucks. Well, today I'm here to find out if that's true. So, let's get started. You know, I asked God, I said, Lord, I'd love if I could review a truck in the snow. It would be cool, it would have ambiance, you know, around Christmas time. It's nice. Well, now that I'm doing it, I realize I don't want to be doing this. It's freezing outside. Can you see my breath? I can see my breath. Yikes. All right, roll the intro. Before we begin, I want to thank Star Buick GMC for allowing me to review this truck. For all your GMC or Buick needs, you can visit Star in person right off of 33 in Easton, Pennsylvania, or at starbuickgmc.com. Starting out up front here on the Sierra Denali, I absolutely love these C-shaped daytime running lights. These are LEDs, you have LED headlights, you have your fog lights down here. Below that, you're gonna have your parking sensors and your tow hooks. Right over here, you're gonna have a front camera that I believe aids in your 360-degree camera. We'll get to that later in the review. Now, there's something I do want to touch on here that some people might be thinking about already is, as I've mentioned in past reviews, I'm not a huge fan of chrome, but I think GM really tastefully places chrome on these Sierra Denalis. I really like the chrome grille and down here how they've done it. I think there's just a perfect amount of chrome on the sides, on the back, and on the front that it kind of evens it out. I think some other manufacturers put chrome in weird places and it doesn't really work. But being the Denali and that kind of being a staple of the Denali trucks over the years, I actually like it on this truck, especially with this dark sky metallic color. Most people tend to get this in black, or they review it at least in black. That's what you see in all the ads, but I think it really stands out with this particular color. Pretty unique amongst all the truck colors out there. Underneath the hood, this particular Sierra Denali is powered by a 6.2-liter Ecotec 3 V8. That makes a whopping 420 horsepower and 460 foot-pound of torque. Those are some pretty crazy numbers for this engine. Now, when it comes to fuel economy, it doesn't put up as crazy numbers. It falls just about in line with most of its other full-size pickup truck brothers. Gets 15 on the city and up to 20 on the highway. Those are the EPA estimates at least. Moving on to the profile of the truck, you'll have these absolutely gorgeous 22-inch polished aluminum wheels. I think they flow really well with the rest of the truck here. Moving on, you're gonna have chrome mirror caps. One really cool thing with the chrome mirror caps, there's actually LED lights in the mirror caps. That's not something I've come across reviewing trucks, so I think that's a really cool feature on there. You'll have your big 6.2 V8 badge down here, your Denali badge in chrome, and then your running board down here will also have the chrome as well as the door handles and the window sills. Again, I think it's a pretty tasteful amount of chrome. Another good party trick, not all too unlike the Ram I recently reviewed. This one also has power running boards. This is what I really think makes the GMC's running boards stand out from the Rams, that if you hit this button right here, the running boards actually come out further so that you can step up into the bed. Now that is forward thinking. And then you just tap that again, and the running boards go right back there. That's pretty cool. But overall, don't tell Chevy I said this. I think the Sierra looks better. I know they're on the same platform, and they have so many similar characteristics, but I really like what GMC usually does on their body styles. I think for the most part, between the two of them, GMC has always had a more upper scale feeling and looking truck, and that's what they're designed to do. But I've just always preferred how the GMC looks to the Silverado. Moving on to the back of the truck, before we fully get to that new multifunction tailgate, I want to go over the payload and towing capacity. So this has a towing capacity of up to 9,100 pounds and a payload of up to 1,540 pounds in this V8 configuration. Not too shabby for that 6.2. All right, let's move on. So if we get to the tailgate here, one tap on the top button will release this, and that will bring down your top like workbench on this guy. You can bring that back up, and then this will bring down the entire tailgate, just the regular tailgate, a traditional sense of the tailgate. And then we hit both of them, it will fall down completely, and then you just hit this, and then this becomes the step up into the truck. And then you also have this handy grab handle bar right here if you want to walk up into it. Really neat, really neat on this truck. A lot of configurations for this tailgate. It's a lot of different ways that you can put it. Definitely very useful, and GM really did a great job with this guy. Cameras on the back, absolutely massive GMC logo right here. Denali below that, and Sierra even further down. Parking sensors right there, and this, just like the Chevy Silverado, has the step in for the bed. I really like that, but with this multifunction tailgate, it almost becomes a little redundant, but if you just don't want to open the tailgate, you just want to get in real quick to grab something, these are really useful on the full-size trucks. Before we fully move on to the interior, I do want to touch on the bed a little bit. You do get a spray-in bed liner on this Denali, LED bed lights, and you get an AC 120-volt outlet. It does say Denali across the back. I really do like how that looks. And one thing I wanted to touch on while we're out here, I'll move into it a little bit more when we get to the inside. You do have a sensor camera up here, actually two of them. We'll look at what that does in a little bit more detail soon. But just remember there's two cameras right there, and we'll move on and I'll show you that then. Now, obviously, the first thing we have to do before we actually get into the Sierra Denali is check if it has a driver's side grab handle, which this one obviously does, so it passes my weird driver's side grab handle tests, which is for some reason something I have. I don't know, I needed a gimmick, okay? So, this has a driver's side grab handle, which is nice. Paired with the running boards, it makes it incredibly easy to step inside. So as we move to the inside, the first thing I want to talk about briefly is how comfortable it is. I absolutely love the textures on the steering wheel. By far, this is the most comfortable steering wheel leather that I have ever felt. I absolutely love it. Incredibly comfortable. The leather on the seats and the center armrest is also very comfortable. They really don't cut any corners for this Denali trim. It really does feel upscale. Now, moving to the center console, you do have this 8-inch touchscreen display. It would be nice to see a larger one, but it's still very big regardless. This one does have a Wi-Fi hotspot, as I mentioned on the Silverado. Really big fan of that. Really nice to see on these trucks nowadays. Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, in navigation built in. Another cool thing I want to touch on very briefly is how many cameras this truck has. You'll have a 360-degree over the truck cam. You'll have backup camera, obviously. You have cameras on your mirrors, you have cameras for towing, you have the sensors for just like everything you can imagine, for lining up a trailer, just everything. This truck is incredible when it comes to the safety features that it has with the cameras. Now, I told you before to remember the two cameras that were up top by the third brake light. One of those is actually a bed camera, so that you don't need to look over and try to see what's in your bed or have to pull over if it's a low load. So you could just click the camera and you could see if anything's sliding around in the bed. Very convenient. Nice to see on this truck. And while I'm here, I might as well mention what that second camera does. That's actually your rear view mirror camera. So if you look like this, it's a standard rear view mirror right here, but then if you pull this down, it actually turns into the camera from the third brake light. So if you have maybe a second person sitting in the back that's maybe in that middle seat, or if you have a very high load in the back and you can't see when you're backing up or just when you're driving, you can actually turn this camera on in here and you can see over it. That is really cool to see. That can be turned on whenever you want, whether you're driving or not. Really nice to see, and all you have to do is flip it back down and it'll turn back into a normal rear view mirror. That is cool. Now above this, you have your controls, your dome lights, your button for your power sliding rear window, and then you also have your buttons for your moonroof up here, your power sunroof. It would be nice to see a full like panoramic moonroof like the Ram had, but regardless, this truck is incredibly luxurious and does feel really upscale, so I can't knock them for not having a full panoramic moonroof. It still is nice to have a sunroof. I'm a sucker for sunroofs. Directly below the center screen, you're gonna have controls for the screen additionally for your volume and channel tuner. And then below that, you'll have your climate controls. They are, of course, dual zone climate controls. I wouldn't expect anything less from a premium luxury truck such as this. Below that, you're going to have your heated and ventilated seats. Really nice to see on this truck. And then below that, you have a massive row of buttons down here. I'm going to try to go over what I believe every one of these buttons is. I may get a few incorrect, but I'm pretty sure I know what all these buttons do. So, first one is your lane departure warning. Your parking sensors are next. The auto start stop feature, if you want to turn that on for the engine to start and stop at like a stoplight so you can conserve some fuel. Next to that, you hit this button, that automatically drops the tailgate. So you do also have that from the key fob as well. So these luxury trucks really doing that auto dropping tailgate. I think that's really nice as well. Your hazards obviously on here. Next is your traction control off. Third over from the right, I believe this turns on your power for your wireless charging down here, if I'm not mistaken. And then you have hill descent control and the infamous running boards button. When I hit this button yesterday, I was actually filming this segment previously. I hit this button and that extended the running boards out and actually knocked my camera over, breaking it. So you can turn the running boards on and off if they want to extend when you open the door. So that's really neat. Oh goodness, oh goodness. But thankfully, due to your guys' amazing support and help, you guys pitched in and donated some money so I could actually get another camera. I found one on the app Let Go. And so now we're actually filming with a new camera. Same body style of camera so I could retain my lenses and stuff. But that is just incredible. So I thank all of you guys for that. So I'm not going to hit this button again, but you bet your booty that in advance I hit that button, extended the running board out as far as it goes, just in case, and then I backed the camera up even further than that. But that's what that button does. It brings your running boards out automatically, so you don't have to tap the bottom feature for the running boards. You can just do it from right inside the truck here. Below that, you have your trailer brake control, USB-C and regular USB. Then next to that, you have a 12-volt cigarette port or regular outlet. Nobody really, does anybody still use that as a cigarette port? I guess maybe some people do, but most people just use that as an outlet. And then you have a 120 household outlet right here. That is very, very helpful, very useful right there. Below that is your spot for wireless charging of the phone if you have that compatibility on your smartphone. 2 cup holders. In here you have an absolutely massive storage bin. Then you have an SD card slot, another USB-C, regular USB 2.0, might be 3.0, but I think it's a regular one. And then an auxiliary input. Not too often you still see the auxiliary inputs on vehicles. That's very nice. Now, if we move over here to the center display here in front of the driver, you do have 2 regular gauges and then you have a center screen. It displays stuff like your radio, your speed, your oil pressure, your navigation can even come up through here, which is really cool. And then you have just so many features in here, but what I really want to talk about is above the gauge cluster, you have a legitimate heads-up display on the windshield. Now that is incredible. I've never seen that in any other truck. Really, really cool to see. That's going to give you your tilting and your angles as well as also your speed on there. You can even pull up the radio station on your windshield. Now I've seen that in other vehicles, but usually very, very high luxurious premium vehicles. I've never seen that in a pickup truck. Incredible to see on this Denali. It really is another thing that aids in making this stand out above the competition. Let's move to the back. Now moving on to the actual back seats of the truck, this is just as luxurious as the front. You do get a lot of great features back here. You're gonna have your little AC vents back here, heated seats, another USB-C and USB, as well as another 12-volt outlet. You're gonna have 2 cup holders right there in some backseat storage. And then these seats do fold up, not too uncommon in the segment, but this adds a little bit more storage in it, which I really like. You can actually open this up in here, and then that adds a little bit of a cubby. So that's a really good way that GM added a little bit more storage in there. I think that that's a really good idea. Now you have that on both seats, and then you also have a little fold down armrest right here with 2 more cup holders. That's really nice to see as well. And the luxurious premium feel extends back here as well. The leather is just as nice as it is in the front. And then you get that on the armrests, on the doors as well. And then you also get this wood texture extending that more premium class feel to the back here. So that was a little overview of the 2020 GMC Sierra Denali. Now, unfortunately, due to the extenuating circumstances of my camera breaking yesterday and me being on a time crunch today, I had to film the rest of the interior. I won't be able to drive this one. I just don't have the time to do it and film that section. But since I already did the Silverado, you can defer to that video. I imagine the driving dynamics are pretty similar on the truck since they ride on the same platform, though this is a little bit different of an engine. Just trust that GM knows what they're doing and they make a very well driving truck that handles quite well. Feel free to let me know in the comments. I could take a look at an F-150, maybe a Nissan, or I've already looked at the Toyota Tundra in their highest trim. So I really enjoy doing this. So if this is the way you want me to go, let me know. Because I like doing the median, the middle trim ones, but it seems like you guys like to watch the more luxurious upper scale ones, see what they all come with, see what they include. So let me know in the comments. Thank you guys so much for the support. Thank you guys so much for helping me get a new camera. I can't explain how amazing I feel. It's such a blessing. It is, you guys are so amazing. It is crazy that I am looking at a camera right now, but I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you, and that I can do these reviews for you guys. It's just one of the coolest things in my life. I feel so blessed to be able to do this and be able to be silly and goofy and make jokes, but still review these semi-professionally for you. Well, I gotta get going, but if you ever need a GMC, feel free to visit Star Buick GMC right off of 33 in Easton, Pennsylvania, or at their website. I'll leave a link in the description. And remember, no matter what vehicle you buy, I'll pray it lasts you a long time and it serves you well. Thanks for watching, guys.